Hi everybody, welcome back to Benton Homestead. It is recycling day once again here in the neighborhood. One of the functions of Evan's honeybee workshop is he's letting me use this lower space on the shelf here for some crates to sort recycling, because now we have our own recycling and our guest house has been very busy this summer, so we have lots and lots of guest recycling to properly take care of. I've been accumulating quite a few of these paint cans as we build new honeybee boxes and during the renovation of the honeybee workshop, and I learned recently that they are not recyclable, so they will go in the green non-burnable garbage bags. They probably will end up being recycled. They'll be taken to the disposal facility, but we just can't set them out at our curbside recycling. So this is the latest that I've picked up from our guest house, cleaning it today. So now we'll be taking these bottles here and pulling off the labels and lids so they're more like these bottles over here before we take them down to the collection site. These are not recycling. We keep these around for storing honeybee liquid sugar, and we also have a crate of bottles that we take over to the guest house and fill up with water. Now usually the first person down here sets out all the crates and bags for everyone else, but it looks like someone was here earlier today and only set up part of it and also put some cans in the plastic bottle bag. So let's clean this up. Alright, that's better. Now items are in the correct bags and we have all the signage on the front of all the crates so everyone can use the place easily. Let's go ahead and get this mystery bag sorted so no one else in the neighborhood has to deal with it. Alright, we took all the plastic bottles and cans down to the recycling, and now what we're left with is some of the more interesting stuff. These are the paint cans in the green non-burnable bags that I mentioned earlier. Garbage is sorted into burnable or non-burnable. On top here we have some fluorescent light bulbs. Believe it or not, out of both of our houses, these are the only two fluorescent bulbs that did not work after being abandoned for 10 years and 40 years. So say what you will about fluorescent bulbs and incandescent bulbs, but they sure do last forever. Here we have an assortment of rusty metal cans and aerosol cans, and the reason I've been holding on to these for so long is, one, I just haven't had the time to take it down there, and two, I was waiting to figure out how to properly dispose of them. But since we've been here and I've been monitoring what other people take down just so I can learn from what they do, other people do take old looking cans like this down there. So we're going to take them down this week. Most of the rest of this is old batteries that came from various old electronics. Fortunately, the electronics were salvageable, but the batteries, of course, don't last very long. This big battery came out of something that we took to the recycling facility because it was too large to put out in the recycling bags. And the collectors at the facility said, yeah, they can take it, but just not the battery. So they removed the battery pack for us, and now we're going to recycle it. I wish I could remember what it came out of. It seems to me like it was an unusable oven, stovetop, or something like that. If I remember, I'll put it in the subtitles below. These were the only two cans that are still very full, and if I remember correctly, they don't accept aerosol cans unless they're empty. So we'll have to go through the process to empty these cans, and then we can recycle them later. Now, while I was down there sorting recycling, I did pull out a few more things just because, if you haven't noticed already watching this channel, I'm kind of a weirdo and I like old things. So this is what I decided to potentially keep. And maybe we'll use them as a display somewhere, some sort of curio cabinet here in the workshop or elsewhere. Here you can see I've just added them into our little temporary display of weird things that I can't bring myself to throw away yet. Now, speaking of cool things that I can't bear to throw away, this is one of the vintage items that I actually purchased. We were visiting our friends at their coffee shop yesterday called Mokusei, which has really adorable retro and vintage home goods, and they're also the nice people who run the One no wa dog rescue. I saw this and I immediately suspected what it was. Do you have any guesses? This was selling for only 800 yen, which is about $6 US, so I had to pick it up. What do y'all think this is? If you guessed that this is to keep you warm in the winter, you would be correct. You put a charcoal briquette inside there and close up the box. The heat emanates out through the metal and it keeps your feet toasty on those cold winter nights. So thanks Mokase, and if you find yourself on Ōmishima, go get a nice coffee from them, pet some rescue dogs, and check out their vintage goods.
Well, since we're talking about recycling and we're about to start on a new phase of the remodel for the garage, we're finally going to bite the bullet and take these 2 washing machines and 2 refrigerators down to the recycling place. It's going to cost 8,000 or 5,000 yen, which is $50 or $35 depending on the size, to get rid of these, and Danny's keeping track of that for our disposal budget. Here's the 2 fridges. This one actually came from the second house we bought, but the other 3 appliances all came from this house, so we've been holding on to them for over a year.
Here's the refrigerator graveyard. Alright y'all, it's my favorite day. It's metal run day. Evan, why don't you tell them what we got in here?
Well, Daniel, we've got some metal. Unknown provenance, mainly iron. We got all these cool fishing weights that our buddy Wayne dismembered for us.
This is all metal that we've collected while cleaning out our second abandoned house, and we've just been holding on to it until we got a truckload full, which makes sense because we have to pay the tolls to go to Imabari City off the island. So today is the day. While we were loading up the truck, Evie made me pull this out. He says, "This is not junk."
Figured we'd send this to our Australian friend Marcus so he can work his magic on it. So, looking at our notes, it seems we've been able to keep our disposal costs under $250 US so far, which seems reasonable. That breaks down to approximately 4,000 yen, or $27 US, for the collection facility, or dump, as we like to call it. Here's a receipt from the time we went to the dump on my birthday. That trip cost us 200 yen and we got rid of 20 kilograms worth of stuff. So doing the math, it looks like we get charged 100 yen per 10 kilograms. And the most we ever spent on a trip to the dump was 800 yen. Next up, we spent exactly 32,000 yen, or around $215 US, getting rid of appliances, and that came out to 3 refrigerators and 2 washing machines. And those are all the big appliances that we anticipate having to pay to dispose of. Isn't that right, buddy? The only other cost for disposal we had was purchase of the official Imabari City yellow and green garbage bags, which works out to a few yen each, but anything we can cram in those bags, they'll take away for free. Next up is the income side of the ledger, and it looks like we wound up with $190 US. And we should note that we also had the cost of the tolls to get to Imabari City, but we're not going to include those because we did manage to combine every trip to the metal recycling plant with some other trip that we needed to do, or in some cases we were doing errands for a friend, so the friend paid the tolls for us. Each time we go, we're given a receipt where everything is broken down by the type of metal and the price we get for each type. So we are, of course, separating everything out before we head down there. Adding that all up then gives us a difference of $60, meaning we spent $60 more on disposal than we made from metal recycling. And given the amount of metal we have left in these 2 houses, I think it's reasonable to expect that we'll break even by the time we're done. It'll probably be exactly even. Well, I hope that was informative. We've heard a lot of horror stories about getting rid of the stuff you find in these Japanese houses, but in our case it hasn't been too terrible. Thanks for watching. This is Benton Homestead. We'll see you next time.